Thanks for coming back. We are now at part 5 of On the Spot. Let's go. Next question comes to us from NY Rangers fan 1357. He puts, his question is, if you can only pick one, what would be horror movies and figures or superhero movies and figures? I guess he's asking if I could only pick one. I can only pick one genre, I guess. What would it be? Would I either have horror movies and figures or superhero movies and figures? As much as I love horror movies, I probably would go superheroes. Probably go superheroes. If his question, however, is if I only pick one horror movie and one figure, and one horror movie, one superhero movie and one figure, then I would probably say favorite horror movie is probably The Shining. My favorite figure from the horror movie genre currently is probably NECA's Friday the 13th Part 3 Jason Voorhees. Superhero movie of all time favorite is Superman, the 1977 Christopher Reeve Superman. And favorite figure, I would probably say is DC Superheroes Clayface, or I would say DC Universe Wave 10 Joker. I'm not sure which question he's specifically asking, but hopefully I've covered off all the basics. Everything's covered off. Moving along. Next question comes to us from, Spot Named Spot finally came with a question. Welcome back, sir. We missed you. He says, OTS, what is your favorite superhero cartoon and what is your most prized possession? My favorite superhero cartoon is probably either Pride of the X-Men, which unfortunately it is such a shame that that show never, that miniseries never became a full-blown series. That series would have been 10 times better, and I find anyone to argue the point with me. That show would have been 10 times better on an animation and quality level than the 90s X-Men cartoon that we ended up getting. That show is very hard to watch nowadays. That I bought the seasons, the sets, the volumes, and to go back and re-watch that, some of the quality of animation is quite poor. Quite poor. My prized possession is all of you guys. You see what I did right there? Okay, no, that's being cheap. My prized possession, I suppose on a collection level, I would probably say my prized possession right now is I have the Superpowers original Batmobile in its box. It's been opened. It's not new or sealed or anything like that. But that was and still is one of my holy grails to get is that Batmobile. Finally got it. Got it for a good price, so that was good. A review of it will definitely follow. I know everyone's immediately typing down below, oh my god, Spot, oh my god! A review definitely will come of that. Trying to think of any other prized possessions. I can't really think of anything just yet. Not just yet, but I would say that's definitely near the top. Hopefully that answered your question, though. Thank you very much, sir, for sending it my way. Next question comes to us from Omega Supreme 919. OTS, hey Spot, do you collect Transformers? If not, why not? And if so, I would love to see some Transformers reviews. Love your channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, sir. It's funny that you say that, because a lot of people ask me the same thing. Spot, are you ever going to do Transformers? I started doing some Transformers. Unfortunately, the biggest problem with Spot I find is I am jinxed. Jinxed when it comes to transforming Transformers on camera. I don't know what it is. I like Transformers when I'm sitting in front of the TV and I can transform something at my leisure. To do it on camera, however, I seem to fudge a lot of my reviews. But I am going to definitely try to get... I've got a lot of Transformers. That's what's so funny. I've got several totes and some things of unopened pieces that I do plan on reviewing. It's just gotta break that cycle, break the mold. But Transformer reviews are definitely coming, so don't worry. Don't you worry, my friend. For anybody that says, Spot, are you going to run out of stuff to review? Very unlikely. It is very unlikely. OTS, next question is from Hugo Mesquita. On the spot, are you going to review the NECA Predators Series 6 and 7? The Predator figures I've kind of gotten off of. In fact, I'm probably going to be selling a lot of my Predator figures off. If anybody is interested at all and can hear the sound of my voice and would like and is interested, let me know. But I am definitely going to get the wave that comes with Dutch, and I think we're also getting another classic Predator, so I'm going to get that wave for sure. But I find the biggest problem with most Predator waves, and I've done, the AVP line, and you may not have seen it depending on when this gets uploaded. Well, it's getting uploaded recently or soon. But I went back and I reviewed all of the AVPR figures. They're going on online soon. But the problem I find with most Predator figures is they utilize so heavily the same mold. Sometimes just changing out a hand, especially more so a mask, and then they market it as a new figure. And you can only really, in my opinion at least, you can only have so many Predator figures in a collection. If you collect every single Predator figure that's ever been released, and even let's even rule out McFarlane Toys, but if you collect every single Predator figure that's been released from NECA, you would have a pretty substantial collection. And I hate to say it, you'd have a pretty substantial collection of pretty much the exact same figure with a few variations. And I know some people could say, well, technically that would be the same case with DC Universe. But really, DC Universe and Spider-Man and Masters of the Universe Classics figures, even though they do utilize the same body mold, there's color variations, there's different things to it. A lot of the Predators, for the most part, look very similar. Very, very similar. But don't worry, though. Definitely the Predator reviews with Dutch and everything, that wave, I'm not sure what wave that is. That might be wave 7, is definitely on its way. Next question comes to us from Ethan Donius. He says, OTS, can you show your face? Which will probably be not the last time this question gets asked. And I'll say this now, and I won't answer it for every other time this question gets answered or asked. Obviously, it's a question I get a lot. And something I mentioned already in, I think, part 4 of this On the Spot. I might show my, face-wise, maybe later on down the road, sure, possibly. But, I don't want to, I don't want to dismiss or devalue anything else that people are doing out there. However you decide you want to review or make videos on YouTube, that is entirely up to you. And I, by far, am not going to be an individual that will criticize, critique, and say, hey, I think that's dumb, or I totally disagree with what you're doing. But I don't feel the need, I would hope that you guys come to this channel and you're basically watching my reviews of stuff. I'm not necessarily somebody that is out to get onto YouTube and start believing at any given point that, I'm, celebrity, or, that, I'm a professional at this and that, and I'm better than other individuals, and, channels I've been viewed this many times, and if this was so many people in a city, and this city would be this big, and I don't see how something, again, I'm very humbled by any notion that anybody would watch something that I put out there and continue to want to watch more of it. It's a very baffling thing to this individual. And so therefore, I like very much so the fact that, I go to a job, I have a job and I go to it and I do that. And then I have this, this is something else that I do. And it's helped as well that I have, you know, I have work me, and I have me out shopping, getting groceries and stuff like that. And then I have Spot, who does all the reviewing and everything else like that. And, maybe down the road kind of thing, but I'm not, I'm not certainly out to, again, I'm not to devalue anything that anybody else has put out there on YouTube. By no means am I out to do that. I've seen many a video where people are like, I couldn't believe how many people were coming up for my autograph, and people were, I don't know. I see, that's the police. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on outside. I'm changing subjects, I know, but I'm not necessarily out. I don't want to be anything more than just somebody that reviews something and hopefully, or makes an entertaining video, and you guys hopefully come and continue to check it out. At the end of the day, that makes me a very happy individual. I don't need anything more than that. I hope that answers your question. That's a very vague and dragged out answer to such a simple question, but hopefully that has helped anybody who is curious as to why, I'm not more on camera. Because I really, at the end of the day, don't want to take away from what my goal was when I made this channel. And that's simply what it is I'm reviewing. It's not me. It's, I may have given names to knives, and I might have imaginary maids and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm just a guy that reviews toys and food and fruit juices. Fruit juices. But yeah, there you go. A very long-winded question, or sorry, a very long-winded answer. Next question comes to us from the Hey Bus Spartan. Wow, I'm terribly sorry for how I just pronounced that. I know I totally butchered it. He says, OTS, if you could have any 4 superpowers, what would they be and how would you use them? I would love to fly. I mean, it's hard to pick 4 superpowers because ultimately, even if you picked 1 or 2, you would be unstoppable. I would love to be super fast, have super speed. I would even like to freeze time, but I mean, then, how do you not, you would like to think that whatever super abilities you had, you would want to use them for good. I would think anybody out there would love to perceive themselves as somebody who is very noble and would use their powers for good. But I'm sure the temptation of power would certainly come into play for the idea that you have all these abilities and that you're much more powerful than, those of mortal men, as they would say. But I mean, I would love to have super speed, super strength, flight, freeze time. I mean, I would really like just the abilities of Superman. That's not to say that I'd like to think that I would use them for good. I would like to think that I would go and help people, but I don't know if I would necessarily be as noble to those that do horrible things. There are horrible, and I don't want to really sour this on the spot with such negativity, but I mean, there are horrible people out there that do really nasty things to other individuals, to property, to animals, and animals for me. That I know I'm getting way off topic, but like animals to me, that's one thing that I have a real tough time with, and I would hope that I would do the right thing, but I mean, certainly with super abilities, if I saw anybody that was doing something really harmful or hurtful to somebody on such a tragic level, I don't know if I could necessarily see myself, tying them up to a boat and leaving them outside a police precinct kind of thing. That's a reference from Superman. I may take law into my own hands to the extent of, bad people, doing bad things. But I'd like to think I would be helpful to the people that need the help, and you know, fight the fight for the innocent kind of thing. So hopefully that answered your question. I'm actually going to wrap this up here. I know the next question comes to us from SX8 Blues, and I want to start that probably on the next part. So I'm going to wrap this up here as we are now 15 minutes in. I'm going to wrap this up here. Stay tuned, guys. Another part to On the Spot is heading just around the corner, so stay tuned for that. Thank you again to everybody below my finger necessarily who has already asked me a question. Hopefully I've answered that correctly. Certainly stick around, guys. The next part is around the corner. Stay tuned.